So you know the story, right? The Pandava princes lose their kingdom in a game of dice and get sentenced to 13 years of exile. But here's the thing. This wasn't just a punishment. No, it was more like a crucible, a series of brutal, intense trials designed to test their wisdom, their humility, their very sense of self, and to forge them from disgraced royals into the leaders they were always meant to be.
So let's jump right into the thick of it. Deep in the forest, the Pandava brother Nakula is dying of thirst after a long hunt and stumbles upon this beautiful, clear lake. But just as he's about to drink, this voice comes out of nowhere, booming, "I am the Yaksha, lord of this lake. Answer my questions before you drink." Nakula looks around, sees nobody, and just ignores it. He drinks, and immediately he falls down dead. One by one his brothers show up, and one by one they make the exact same mistake.
Can you even imagine that scene? Yudhishtira, the eldest, finally arrives to find his 4 invincible brothers, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva, just lying there, lifeless, with no sign of a struggle. As he too bends down to drink, that same voice calls out. But here's where things change. Unlike his brothers, Yudhishtira, humbled by years of hardship, actually listens. You see, this isn't the same man who gambled everything away. He's learned, the hard way, not to rush into things. And that's when the real test begins. This invisible Yaksha, who's a kind of guardian spirit, tells Yudhisthira that if he wants to save himself and bring his brothers back, he has to answer a bunch of questions. And these aren't just trivia questions, they're riddles designed to test the very core of his character and his wisdom.
Okay, so the Yaksha hits him with the first one. What is faster than the wind? Now you think about that. In a world defined by physical strength and speed, what could possibly be faster than the wind?
Yudhishthira's answer is instant and it's perfect. The mind. Of course, it can travel across the entire universe in a split second. See, this isn't a test of brawn, it's a test of insight, a totally different kind of power.
The questions keep coming, each one digging deeper into life, duty, and what it means to be human. And then the Yaksha asks the big one, the most philosophical question of all. What is truly the most amazing, the most astonishing thing about this world we live in?
And Yudhishthira's answer, wow. It just shows you how much he's changed. He says, everyday creatures die, yet the rest live as if immortal. He sees the fundamental contradiction of being human. We're surrounded by death every single day, yet we all walk around in this stubborn denial that it'll ever happen to us.
The Yaksha is completely blown away by this. He offers to revive one brother. Now who do you think he picks? Not Bhima, the powerhouse, not Arjuna, the legendary archer. He chooses his stepbrother, Nakula. Why? He explains, I, a son of my mother Kunti, am alive. It's only right that a son of my father's other wife, Madri, should live too. This is huge. He's moved beyond personal feelings to a higher principle of justice, basically correcting the terrible mistake he made when he gambled his stepbrothers away first.
And it turns out this was no random forest spirit. The Yaksha reveals his true form. He is Yama, the god of death and dharma, of righteous duty, and, as it happens, Yudhishthira's divine father. He brings all 4 brothers back to life. The test is over. Yudhishthira didn't just pass, he proved he'd been fundamentally transformed by his ordeal.
Okay, so let's fast forward. 12 years have gone by, and now the Pandavas are facing their final and maybe toughest year. They have to live completely in hiding. If they're found, it's another 12 years of exile. Yudhisthira is in despair, but he's told a story that's meant to be more than just comforting. It's a literal blueprint for survival. He hears the story of King Nala, another noble ruler who, just like Yudhishthira, lost everything. His kingdom, his status, his entire identity, all in a game of dice. I mean, the parallel is impossible to miss. This isn't just a fable, it's a practical guide.
And Nala's story is rough. He's so consumed by shame that he actually abandons his wife, Damayanti, in the middle of the forest. They both end up suffering incredible hardships, eventually having to take on new identities as servants in other kingdoms. Nala becomes a cook, Damayanti a queen's maid. And this whole tale of suffering in disguise, well, that's about to become the Pandavas' playbook.
So here we are, the 13th and final year, the big one. The Pandavas have to put this lesson into practice. They have to ditch their royal identities, swallow every last ounce of their pride, and become common servants in the court of a king named Virata. This is going to be their ultimate test of humility.
And the disguises they choose are just wow. It's a masterclass in humility. Yudhishtira, the man who should be emperor, pretends to be a simple court advisor. The unbelievably strong Bhima becomes a cook. Arjuna, the greatest warrior on earth, takes on the form of a eunuch to teach dance to the princess. And their queen, Draupadi, becomes a servant to another queen. They're hiding in plain sight, and you can bet their pride is getting tested every single day.
And for a while, believe it or not, the plan works. But you knew it couldn't last, right? Trouble shows up, and his name is Kichaka. He's the queen's brother, he's powerful, and he's a creep. He gets obsessed with the queen's new maid, Sairandri, who is, of course, Draupadi in disguise. His constant harassment is about to blow their cover and put all their lives in danger.
So Draupadi goes to her husband Yudhishtira, begging for help. His advice? Be patient. If they act now, they'll be discovered and have to do another 12 years in exile. I mean, the logic is sound, but it's cold. Draupadi is outraged and desperate, and she knows exactly who to turn to. Bhima, the one brother whose fierce, passionate love for her trumps any long-term strategy.
So that night, Bhima sets a trap. He waits for Kichaka in the dark, disguised as Draupadi. When the brute shows up, Bhima unleashes 12 years of pent-up rage and fury, crushing Kichaka into a literal, formless pulp. He protects Draupadi's honor, but an act of vengeance that violent is like a signal flare to their enemies.
And yeah, sure enough, news travels fast. Word of an impossibly strong man killing Kichaka reaches the Kauravas. Their leader, Duryodhana, immediately puts 2 and 2 together. He knows. That was Bhima. He figures out they're hiding in the kingdom of Matsya and sends his entire army to attack, hoping to force them out of hiding before the year is officially over.
Now the Kauravas have set a trap, drawing King Virata and his main forces away on a wild goose chase. So who's left to defend the city against this massive army? The king's young, boastful son, Prince Uttara, and his only companion, his eunuch dance teacher, Brihanela, acting as his charioteer. Yeah, this is looking like a total disaster.
Predictably, the prince sees the army, panics, and tries to bolt. But Brihanela stops him. She steers the chariot to a lone sami tree just outside the city. This is where, a year ago, the Pandavas hid their divine weapons, disguising them as a corpse to keep anyone from looking too closely. The time for hiding, oh, it is so over.
And then comes the moment we've all been waiting for. In this incredible, breathtaking instant, Brihanela sheds the disguise. The eunuch is gone, and standing there is Arjuna, the mighty warrior, holding his legendary bow, the Gandiva. He calmly tells the completely awestruck prince to take the reins. The servant has vanished. The hero is back.
All by himself, Arjuna just wipes the floor with the entire Kaurava army. And at that very moment, the sun sets on the final day. The 13 years are officially complete. They did it. They fulfilled their oath. They didn't just survive their trials, they burst through the finish line, transformed, and ready to reclaim their destiny, not as servants, but as true kings.
You know, the Pandavas were truly forged in the fire of that exile. All that suffering brought them wisdom, it taught them humility, and it gave them a much deeper sense of justice. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is that crucible of hardship what it actually takes to create a true hero?